Hello, this is Aaron Gilbert with Be Ready Academy. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use the Baofeng. You can see here it's the UV-18 Pro Max. Baofeng has been manufacturing radios like this for over 20 years. I've been the proud owner of a number of earlier versions of the Baofeng. This particular radio is one that I've chosen this year. It's got the best features that I found of any of the other Baofengs that I could have chosen. One of the benefits of this radio is that my previous radios were 8-watt radios, and this one's a 10-watt radio, so it's got extra power. My other radio only could do like 118 channels. I could program it into it, and this one I can actually program up to 1,000 channels, and it does it in groups of 100. So I'll show you these different banks that we can use, and I've only used part of 3 banks that is in the radio. Another benefit of this radio is that it actually has 6 different bands of frequencies that it can listen to. So with this broadcast on, and so this radio gives me the ability to handle communications with walkie-talkies, MURS radios, GMRS radios, regular ham radios that broadcast on the 2-meter band and the 70-centimeter band. So these frequencies that are mostly used by ham radio operators, this radio here is great to communicate with them. And then this radio also has the ability to listen to the FM radio stations in the valley, so you can hear from the local news. This radio also has GPS capabilities. My previous radio didn't, so actually I can program other radios so that I can actually see where they're at in comparison to myself on this radio. This radio also has the ability of being powered by a USB Type-C connection, so I can actually plug this into a cell phone battery bank or a solar panel and plug it while I'm in the field. I don't always have to use the AC plug that comes with the house. That plugs into the house line. So those are some of the features of this radio that I didn't have with the previous radios. So let's go ahead and get started. When the radio first arrives, this radio has the antenna detached, and that just screws and unscrews up here at the top. You can upgrade this antenna if you wish to. I've used it to actually broadcast from here all the way to Lehigh without a single problem. So I'm just happy with the existing antenna. And then it has a lanyard, which I attach it so I can actually carry it on my wrist if I want to. And it also comes with a belt clip, which I put on using these 2 screws that are on the radio. This back here is the USB plug, Type-C plug. You guys can see that. Other features of the radio is it has the ability of plugging in a headset. If you want to get a headset that's extra, you have to purchase that separately, but it would plug into that port there. This button here is the one that you use to push to talk. So when you're ready to talk to somebody, you just push it down, hold it while you're talking, and then let it go when you're done. Let's go ahead and turn on the radio now. And then you'll see the Be Ready logo flash for about half a second. Wish I kind of showed you our logo a little bit more because I pre-programmed it, but that's the most it does. This radio has on the screen, it's a color screen. That's another benefit. This radio has a color screen versus the other one, which basically was just black and white. And you'll see 2 separate channels. One's on the top and one's on the bottom. This red button will bounce you back and forth between the 2. And then you use the up and down arrows to change the channels. Okay. This bottom button here is the one that you push for the radio. Whoa, that was loud. Push it again to turn it off. Now, if you're currently monitoring a channel while you're listening to the radio, the music, and somebody starts talking, then the radio will automatically turn off the music and you'll hear the person talking. So that's kind of a nice feature. If you hold down this button all the way and hold it for a second, it turns into an alarm. Not sure if you'll need that, but it has that feature. On the top here is the GPS sensor, which basically helps the radio find out where you're located, and it'll show you your latitude and longitude coordinates on the radio when you hold the red button down. Hold it down long enough, and then you'll see the coordinates pop up there. Now, this radio has the ability of programming other people's radios in here so you can see their coordinates. I haven't done it right now, but that's use up down arrow key to find them, and then you push the green button and it gives you a little aerial direction of where they're at. So if they're northeast of you, it'll show you a little dot to the right, or wherever they're at from your direction. I haven't used the GPS coordinates that much. It's kind of a more advanced feature that I don't think most of you will probably use, but that's where it's at. All right, so let's go ahead and start talking about the different banks of information, that's radio channels that are stored in here. To access those, you push the green button, and then you'll see the word bank on the top of the menu. You'll want to hit the green button one more time, and now you can see there's 3 banks open right now. Each one of these banks has up to 100 channels. You can program it, and you can do up to 10 banks. Right now I'm only using 3. So I'm going to move up to the top one. It says open frequencies. Hit the green button. It's saved. So I'm going to now hit return. I'm going to hit the red button. I'm back. Now this frequency is now showing you that you have, I'll bounce back up to the top frequency. So it's FRS1. FRS1 is the same as your walkie-talkies. It stands for Family Radio Service. The Family Radio Service channels don't require any licensing at all. The walkie-talkies that you probably have in your garage somewhere will work on this. So if you turn on your walkie-talkie to frequency 1 and you're on FRS1 here, you'll be able to talk back and forth between these 2 devices. Now there's 14 radio stations, FRS stations, that you can switch between, so you can play with all those. Now, in addition to those, I also added the MURS station, that stands for Multi-Use Radio Service. Not very many people know that this one exists. Now, there's 5 channels, and I highly recommend that you kind of consider using those ones instead of FRS, because FRS is going to be used by pretty much everybody else. After the MURS channels, I'm going to show you GMRS. The GMRS channels are actually, now I got it says GRMS, it's actually GMRS. On my particular radio, I forgot to go back and change it over, but on the new radios that I'm programming, I did correct the spelling. So GMRS 1, and there's, I think, 22 channels. So there's 22 GMRS channels. These ones are the best ones to probably use, but these do require a license from the FCC. And I'll probably have to put together a tutorial on how to get a license, because it doesn't require a test. It just requires you paying a $35 fee, and it'll give you a 10-year license for you and your whole family that live with you. So the nice thing about GMRS channels is that they actually allow us to broadcast at higher power lengths, and you can actually reach further distances using the GMRS channels. So again, those are what's in the first bank of channels that I made available to you, all these channels. Now, if you do use GMRS without getting a license, the odds are you're probably not going to get caught, but just giving you a heads up what the law is. Now I'm going to switch over to the second bank, which is emergency frequencies. These ones are designed for you to be able to listen to, and if necessary, call for help. Okay? So a couple of these channels, particularly the ones with the government, they aren't going to allow you to broadcast to them, but you'll be able to listen to them. So like here's public safety, search and rescue, Utah County Fire, Utah Sheriff's Department. So I've used both of those channels to listen to various different events that have been going on within our county, and it does work. Of course, the sheriffs and the fire departments have other channels that they don't let you listen to, but on the general purposes of knowing what's going on, they do broadcast information on those 2 channels that we can listen to. Then we have BYU, if you want to listen to any of the kids over there at BYU. Costco, this is the Costco in Spanish Fork. It allows you to listen to what's going on with their employees there. Not sure why I put it on there too much, other than the fact that if something closes down Costco, it must have been drastic, because they always stay open during their open hours, unless something nasty happens. So you can listen to that. This is the Linden Bishop Storehouse, and occasionally you'll be able to hear what's going on with the Bishop Storehouse. This is the router that's in Payson. So any ham radio operators in Payson will be broadcasting on that station. This is the same thing in Mapleton. And then Salem Woodland Hills. This is actually the one for the Salem Woodland Hills stake. We use these two frequencies to communicate our emergency needs. So you can listen to that one. And then this is the state of Utah. Now, if you're traveling anywhere in the state of Utah and ham radio operators are monitoring that frequency, you can actually call for help. So you do not need a ham radio license, in case you didn't know that. If you have to call for help, you're exempt. And then if you're traveling nationwide, this frequency here, nationwide, is monitored by ham radio operators as well, and you can call for help on that channel. Now, for listening purposes, Aries has about, I don't know, was it 13 channels? So Aries is the Amateur Radio Emergency Services channel. In other states, Aries is used quite a lot. They help coordinate emergency responses between the Sheriff's Department and the general public. So they kind of are extra hands of communication that's used. And in the state of Utah, they use another organization called UCARES, and I'll show that to you in a second. So NOAA, NOAA has 8 channels that work nationwide. As you travel across the United States, one of these 8 stations will pick it up, and it will tell you what's going on with the weather at that general area. And they rotate the frequencies all the way across the United States. So keep in mind that you just got to scroll through those when you're traveling to figure out what the weather situation is. All right. The next section has to do with airplanes. So I programmed in here a lot of frequencies having to do with like the Salt Lake Airport, the Provo Airport. This frequency here is used by airplanes in the air communicating with each other. Spanish Fork Airport. So usually quite a bit of traffic on that one. There's Civil Air Patrol. These are 5 more channels that are used nationwide to monitor for communications and emergencies. And then there's these UCARE channels. Those are the ones where Utah ham radio operators are volunteering to help out with the government emergency services, and they'll broadcast on these channels. Then there's also the Utah County ham radio clubs that these guys will talk to each other and share information that they know about what's going on. Oops.
About 25 after or so, but I started early. Band conditions have been really poor, and
all right, that's working. This one here is the Nebo School District. It's mainly used by the school buses when they're transporting kids to and from home and school. So you can listen to what's going on there. Woodland Hills City has its own frequency that it uses. Primarily snowplows were using it. They're not using it anymore, but if the city ever needed to broadcast on a ham radio channel, they would do it on this channel. This is KSL News. They have a ham radio channel too that they use to keep in communication with their reporters throughout Utah. You can listen to that one. And then we're back here to Utah Public Safety, Utah Search and Rescue, Utah Fire, Utah Sheriff. And so we cycle back through the list. So those are the frequencies that I would recommend that you listen to during a disaster. And if you had to call for help, you use one of these frequencies, okay? We're going to go ahead and bounce now to the 3rd section. So I'm going to hit the bank again. I'm going to hit the down arrow key. I'm going to hit the green button again. And I'll hit the red button to get back out of the menu. So what I did here is I assumed that maybe you might want to travel throughout the state of Utah. Most cities have ham radio operator groups that maintain a repeater in their general city so that they can all easily talk to each other. So as you're going through the state of Utah, you can actually listen to those frequencies. So here's Cedar City, Clearfield, Clinton, Colville, Draper, Duchesne, Duck Creek, Eagle Mountain. I mean, you guys can see the list. It's quite a list. It's all alphabetical. All right. That is my how to use this radio for basic communications video. If you need to know more about the details of the inner workings, and how to use all these different keys that are here and program this radio, that'll be a secondary video that I'll put down in the future. But for now, I think you have enough information to be able to use this radio to listen and call for help if necessary. And if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. There's my phone number. Or email me at aaron@bereadyacademy.org, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks.